Okay, good morning. It is Thursday, June 16th, 2022. Richland County Board of Commissioners are now in session. I'm Commissioner Tony Vero, joined by Commissioner Banks, Commissioner Mears, our clerk Stacy Crawl, our engineer Adam Gove. We have our county administrator Andrew Keller there. We got the media. Did the media do over there?
Yes, they are both on.
Larry and Daryl, or his other brother Daryl, they over there?
Al and Carl.
Just make who's Larry and who's Daryl, or who's Daryl and Daryl, right, Daryl? All right, Gove. It's your time to shine. We're seeing too much of you lately.
No, I don't.
We don't like seeing you.
I don't always enjoy coming up here.
Sound like his wife, don't we?
Any particular order, Stacy?
Reject the seal coat.
Rejecting seal coat. Well, you're asking for the rejection of seal coat.
Yes. So this is a rebid. So we've already rejected the first round of seal coat bids. We rebid. We reduced the mileage, upped our unit prices, and the bid came in on these rebid even higher than the first bid. Continue to escalate 2.5 weeks between the two bids. Right now we are, again, because of our revised code, we need to reject the loan bid that was received for the chip and seal project. At this time, we're going to reevaluate how many roads we want to do if we're going to do it this year. We're getting late into the bidding season to get this done in a timely manner. So just going to reevaluate. We'll be back up here next week if we decide to go ahead and advertise for a new bid on this project. Any questions on that?
Okay.
No surprises there.
Motion.
Other than, like I said, we reduced the number of miles we were going to do and the price came in even higher. So
Way to go, Gove.
Yeah.
Motion to reject the 2022 seal coat bid.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right. Now we actually going to award a bid here, hopefully.
yes, you should.
The rock salt. And we have a recommendation from Adam here. They received 4 bids. Morton Salt Incorporated is the lowest and best bidder. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to award the rock salt contract at $63.77 per ton to Morton Salt Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right.
That make you the rock star as well as the rock salt star?
I don't know.
Makes him salty.
And by gambling way, the state contract did come in, saw results here, just posted this week. Our state contract price is going to be $52.79. That's a bid. So the state did include a fuel price increase.
So what's that per ton though?
That's their per ton, that's their base price. So if I don't remember what the base fuel price was, it was based on the date that they opened the bid.
So
They
it
looked at
sounds
the
like
average diesel.
Gambling ways, you're a bad gambler because the state kicked the crap out of your
Correct.
fantastic.
But there's a fuel component added to that.
Yes. So if fuel prices rise, that salt price on the state contract.
It's added as a per ton basis also?
What's that?
Is that added as a per ton basis?
It's a
Based on,
separate. So this will be what shows up on the bills, the $52.79, and then there'll be a fuel adjustment line item on there as well.
Okay, did we vote on that, Stacy?
Yes.
You are a bad gambler, by the way. Just so you
Noted
put
on.
that out there. Motion to approve 2 utility permit applications for Columbia Gas, Ohio, West Cook Road and Washington North Road.
so moved.
Rivera,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Hey,
Hey.
Tony,
Hey, Al.
didn't leave yet.
oh, he's here. Hold on.
Well, let us get through this utility permit. We'll ask you well, you can have questions, Al.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure Adam didn't leave.
All right, motion to approve utility permit application from Consumers Gas Cooperative on Rome Greenwich Road.
So moved.
Commissioner Banks, you want a second?
Hey, I do.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, Al, ask away.
Yeah, Adam, who would that loan bid on the chip and seal? Who was it from and what percentage was it over?
It's Earthworm Construction. And it would appear to be about not quite 20% over, somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Okay. Jeez. Okay, I don't need a total. That's fine. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to some of our
Whoa,
logistics.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh, Carl,
whoa.
oh, sorry.
Slow down, Mr. Public Commissioner here.
That's
Unlike
us.
unlike Al, I do need some totals, Adam, and I apologize. What was the loan bid from Earthworm Construction for the chip and seal rebid project?
Yes, it is $609,295.39.
And what was your estimate this time?
522,610.58.
And you said you'd reduce the number of miles. What was the total? What was the mileage? What did you reduce it to?
I believe we were around 21. We just dropped a mile. We were at 20 for this rebid.
Is there any idea, since you did drop the mileage and up what you were going to pay, any idea how this came in even higher?
Yeah, it looked like the price for the stone went up. It was, again, that's probably a result of trucking and manufacturing. The emulsion did go up a little bit. It's a petroleum-based product. So those are the two main components that went up.
Now, you said you're getting a little late in the bidding season. What happens to these particular roads if they don't get chip and seal this year?
We'll probably have to patch them, keep the potholes from developing too far along, and just kind of watch it as we go, see if we can hold it off till next year.
Okay. And what was the total jump into the Morton Salt bid? What was the total price of their bid and what was the total estimate again?
There was no estimate on this. This is a material bid. Their unit price to Morton was $63.77 a ton, which for 11,915 tons that's being estimated needed for the county next year. That came to a total of $759,819.55.
And that's the salt that you'll be sharing with the townships and municipalities, correct?
Correct. This is a joint bid with townships and I think 16 of the 18 townships and 6 municipalities in the county.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's-
got one other question to go along with the salt thing. Tony was giving you a hard time about hedging your bets. Adam, how were you planning on splitting your purchasing between state and your own bid?
For the county, we are splitting it in half. We're doing 2,500 tons through the county contract and 2,500 tons through the state contract.
Couldn't have even done 75-25, huh?
Okay, that's all I had on that. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, you won't see him on any Vegas shows anytime soon, it looks like, so.
Hey,
All
50
right,
the house.
what's that?
Doesn't 50-50 beat the house?
No, not when there's Vig, Al. It shows you how little you do know about gambling.
Which isn't a bad thing.
And so I'm thinking,
Well, word on the street is there are other county engineers that look as to what Adam Gove does and they do the opposite. I'm just telling, I don't know, I can't prove that. That's just anecdotal. So if the minutes could reflect that, that would be great.
What's the opposite of 50-50?
Could do 75-25. So, all right, Adam, thank you. We know prices are going up. So,
Around here for
oh, thank you.
storm update.
All right, I have some amendments to the minutes. You look at page 5, it talks about the Bar Association, we raise rates. It says the commissioners were cautious in raising rates because the state does not always pay what they're saying are going to do. If I can make an amendment to the cautious in raising rates to the $75 an hour max across the board. I think that's important for the substance of the minutes. And then it says the commissioners promised to review the rates again in the pandemic hit. I would like at least to say the promise to review the rates to see if they were getting 100% reimbursement. Those would be my amendments.
motion to accept the minutes
As amended?
as amended.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes. Motion to approve acquisitions.
So moved.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Banks,
Motion to approve 1 weekly transfer request.
So moved.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Motion to accept the resignation of Lisa Hickman at Dayspring effective 6/8/22.
So moved. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right, as we know from talking to Mr. Gove and just basically living in America right now, we are experiencing unprecedented inflation. So at this time, there was an IRS, the IRS had released their mileage reimbursement rate. I would recommend we do so as well and move up to 0.625, which is nearly 63 cents per mile. And it'd be an increase from 58.5 cents a mile.
I will make that motion. Said federal.
Effective July 1st.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
All right, motion to authorize advertising for maintenance repair worker.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right, motion to authorize advertising for the Richland County Fairgrounds roof project.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Any questions from the media before we go into the hard luck EMA director?
Yeah, what's the estimate and who did the estimate for the fairgrounds roof project? What's the estimate for the work?
Let me get it back open.
All right.
The estimate is from Dan Seckel at $699,000. Scheduled to be completed end of May 2023.
You gotta shade all of your head.
Thank you very much.
Wow, you gonna bid on the work, Carl?
I got my hands full right now, Commissioner, but please, thanks for thinking of me.
We'll maybe even give you a bottle of Sud so you can feel more like a free man.
Free
Is that-
man.
Is that a ARPA funded?
Yes. It would be from the revenue loss portion of ARPA. All right, Joe, it is 9:45. Sarah, Joe, come on up.
Plug that in and share that on the screen for two photos.
I will try.
Should we take a little recess, Joe? We get it. All right, guys, we're going to take a little bit of recess just to get up some presentations. So we'll recess at 9:45, probably be back on in a couple minutes.
May I hear you?
Yeah.
Alan, Carl, I'm not sure how I can show you that any better. Can you guys see that?
I can see it a little. Is that a slide that you can email to us?
Correct.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, that would be fine with me too.
The Mohican Lodge is still without power. They're closed. They've been closed.
You ready, Joe?
I'm ready.
Come on up, Joe and Sarah.
Come on up where?
Just have a few seats right there.
You can have a seat.
That way the microphone's right there.
Okay, hold on.
You can sit there because I'm probably going to stand on this.
Okay.
So I'm going to probably walk around.
You're gonna walk. You can do your
I'll
thing.
try to stay around.
All right.
Oh, my. Hold on. Oh, geez.
Joe's gonna be one of the best dressed in the neighborhood.
I try.
Hey, Tony.
I was up
Yeah.
for 40 hours straight. I wouldn't be looking like that.
Well, I got about
I shared my screen, but now like I can't go back to
12
hit
hours of sleep
record.
that Sunday night.
So I think
How
you have
do
to hit
I-
record first and then do the shared screen.
Okay, so how do I get back? I tried clicking a bunch of those things and it all.
Okay, that's not. This what you're seeing two Zoom screens?
I have, those are the two files he wants to show.
So that's the view from the camera.
Here's your,
Yeah.
there's your thing there. So if
So
So
Carl, now
stop the
that
share.
stop the share for
There we
now.
go.
and there you go.
Okay. Okay. Now we're back.
Okay. Like we said, 5 minutes. We are the Jet Express here in Richland County. We are back in session, joined by two people who haven't slept much lately. That would be our EMA agency, or excuse me, A is our Emergency Management Agency. The director, Joe Patricki, and Sarah Potes. Before we get started on a storm review, we certainly want to thank the both of you. Public and or the media is not aware. Mr. Patricki was up for how many hours straight?
Over 40.
Over 40. He drank a lot of coffee. He didn't look like he was, the beard was looking a little disheveled there at hours 35 and 36. And then you also had some home issues too. So you were taking care of the county and then trying to rush home and bail out water. And so it's been a fun time. And, if we can have a little bit of levity, thankfully, as far as we know, there are no major injuries, but there's a lot of damage and there are still many residents without power. So Joe, please kind of update us as to where we were and where we are and where we're going.
Okay. So for transparency for the media that's with us right now, the Google Maps screenshots that you're seeing is not created by the National Weather Service. That is something that I've been working on the last 2 days, mostly from the information we received from the damage assessment teams. I spoke with the National Weather Service probably half hour ago just to get some things fine-tuned. They are still doing their review and will have a better report out probably in several weeks. They could not give me a firm timeline on that. So if you look at the screen, the top blue point, which is point 1, which is just below the Walmart Supercenter up there in the top corner, and point 2 down right over Newville area on the map, that was where our drone team from Sandusky County wanted us to hone in on, or we wanted them to hone in on those 2 areas. And from point 1 down to point 2. I want to give a huge shout out to the Sandusky County EMA office for volunteering to come down and help us out. 2 professional drone operators, trained damage assessors. When they got the drone up right off the bat, they called back and said that point 1, they were starting to see damage that appeared to be from a tornado. And as they got further southeast, it became pretty evident to them that it was a tornado. But not being part of the National Weather Service, we had to wait for them to review. I think overall we've just from the drone team, we've got over probably 400 photos. I wanted to try to get the photos to show you, but when I try to download them, they just come out blank. So we're working through that issue right now, but hopefully we will have the photos available to share. So the red dot there on Swigert Road, that is, I think it's 4156 Swigert Road. And the residents there emailed me last night some photos. Part of the issue too, from the drone photos, the geodata, the geotagging, the metadata, we were unable to see that. So we really had no good starting point until this morning to assess the damage other than the polygon you see there. So look, and talking with the National Weather Service this morning, the tornado actually started and touched down about 3 miles west of Newville, towards like the Possum Run area. And then it went for 5.7997 miles. The maximum path width was 100 yards. And the estimated maximum wind speed was 105 miles an hour. It's rating it as a EF1. Let's see here. Tornado touched down and destroyed an outbuilding near Possum Run Road and Snyder Road, tracked eastward south of Possum Run Road, and produced extensive tree damage as it moved east and remained south of Pleasant Hill Lake. The tornado then turned southeast and became more intermittent, and then entered into Mohican State Park and produced additional extensive tree damage, which is not in our county. I spoke with Ashland County EMA director late last night, and he was out with the National Weather Service the day before in that area. So we were able, the drone team, took them several hours to upload all the data and then get it to us. Yesterday, I forwarded all of the photos, everything that the drone team gave to us, to the National Weather Service. And then they started their analysis on that. And then they said that track where our tornado started in Richland County and moved into the Mohican Forest lines up pretty good with what the damage and the stuff they're seeing in Ashland County. So the polygon area, the shaded area, there is extensive damage around Hastings all the way down throughout to our county line. So on both sides of the blue miles, the blue mile line, the dotted line there's extensive damage in that whole area. And again, just to be clear, that is
The other one.
yeah. So that was the first map I created based upon the 2 points that the drone team said. And then we just, like I said, I just drew that line. But just to be clear, this is EMA produced. It's not scientific. It was just heat of the moment, trying to get something documented as fast as I could to present to you all. So go back to that, the polygon one. We still don't know how many buildings have been destroyed or damaged. There are hundreds and hundreds of trees scattered still on roadways. That has been one of our major obstacles, is damage assessment down in that area. Let's see, is there anything else? I know something I want to discuss. So I asked the National Weather Service why a tornado warning was not issued. And he said that due to the zero lead time, they were unable to, because it happened so fast, they were unable to hit the tornado warning for that area in southeast Richland County. I'd figured that was a question that's going to come up from the public. But
Yeah, I was monitoring my phone during both the midnight storm and then the second wave for alerts, and
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, I was too. I tried to get WENS going, but we had issues out at our EMA office with internet connectivity. So I don't know if the WENS messages actually went out or not. When the storm first hit, I was at home monitoring on my computer. We lost power. So I came in, went into the office. Took me a while to get into the office because all the trees were down. And then I started monitoring from there. So I don't know. It said WENS alerts went out, but I don't know for sure that they did due to the internet issues. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to cover that as far as, because I know we're going to get questions about why the tornado sirens did not go off. Currently, right now, Ohio Edison has approximately 6,833 individuals without power. AEP is down to 1,889, and Firelands is 481.
It's still 16% of First Energy customers in this county.
Yes. I've been speaking to Joe Jakubik from Ohio Edison, and he assures me that they're doing what they can. And I know I saw on my way in to work this morning, I saw some trucks from Pennsylvania. So we put it out on Twitter this morning on our Twitter page, thanking all the crews, AEP, Ohio Edison, and Firelands for doing what they do. We understand, the public's concern due to the heat, but just they're doing what they can, and they have made great progress over the last 24 hours. So we will look. I'm more interested to see the official tornado report from the National Weather Service, but that probably won't be till the end of the month before they get everything fine tuned. But that's all we got as of right now.
Can I hit you with a question, Joe?
Yes, sir.
You know, your law enforcement background and what you saw, like even up in the Straub Road area where the roof coming off the house and multi-family dwellings there, are you surprised with no loss of life or no injuries?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, very, very surprised. I went, once it became light, I went over to Straub Road because we didn't have any power at the EOC, or we had power, we did not have any internet. And I drove around a little bit, and yeah, I was amazed at the damage just for that one apartment building. Now, there was significant damage along the going east on Straub Road, obviously, but that was a major hit that took. And I'm not even sure if they have assessed that yet as far as that straight line wind or what have you. But Richland County took a very, very hard hit, southeastern portion. Not even in the north, it's kind of weird because there's just little pockets of damage across the whole county. And then Tuesday, I was driving down Lexington Avenue, and it looked like business as usual. All the stoplights were on, people were out. There's construction going on down at Lexington and Middle Belleville. So it was just kind of odd to see. We just got hit with this horrible weather, portions of the county, but here it is in this little section, it's business as usual. So
with that tornado, does that bring funding in? Does that designation get anything for the county as far as help support?
I'm not sure yet on that. I think we have to do more damage assessment and find out exactly the total numbers of damaged structures. But right now, I know there's damaged farmhouses, buildings, garages, but most of the damage is down trees out in the farmers' fields and things like that.
But one thing about the down trees, I had some people from Belleville call, and there's so many down on the river that they're worried about flooding.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole can of worms that we got hit with that we're trying to manage numerous angles. We're working on a debris management plan right now. But until we get further in the weeds with exactly where all the damage is, then we'll get into that plan a little better. But we still really do not know exactly where all the damage is, other than that shaded area, which has extension.
Can you explain the difference between the shaded area and the two parallel purple lines?
Yeah, so the parallel purple lines is just something that I just threw in there for kind of your viewing to see the major damages in between the two purple lines. And then the polygon, the shaded area there's damage across, but the heavy damage appears to be in between those two purple lines.
Which would be the path of the tornado, obviously.
Well, like I said, that's not the official path.
Or the
That's the EMA
Joe
version.
Patricky official path of the tornado.
Again, I'm not a trained meteorologist.
That's pretty good though. Not bad.
That the drone team said, that was what I came up with in a hasty document to share with you.
It's a great visual. Thank you very much.
And that's where we definitely saw a lot of trees, and some of those roads are still closed with trees across the roads.
Yeah, I know, I understood there was an incident hidden hollow, and that's in that area.
So the long answer to that, Greg, is we will continue to communicate with Joe on any potential disaster declarations on if that will avail us to dollars for assistance to anyone who suffered damage. So that's an ongoing work in progress.
And just to clarify, we probably could even drag the polygon on that southwest side down across Possum Run towards Clear Fork. But just like I said, in the 20 minutes that I did that was but there is damage south of that line. I don't want people to get the misconception that, we don't have damage because we're not in that polygon. That's just a visual to get started with.
I was talking to Joe Jakubik, and we definitely need to give him a special shout out. He's
Yes.
great. I mean, I talked to him 4 times a day.
Yes.
Already was talking to him this morning. He said to me, this was worse than the 2005 ice storm.
Yes. Yes. I would agree with that.
I also was in communication with John Spring from AEP, and they also, and John did a very good job.
Yeah, I want to communicate that out to the public, you know, all the service providers, I mean, everybody, the fire departments, you know, Adams guys, all the street departments, townships, villages, everybody has been great to work with. I know they're working round the clock to get things cleaned up, but there's just so much damage that it's going to take time. But I do want to mention that our office, we appreciate all the assistance that we got. You know, when we were partially open in the EOC there, we had Ohio Health sent me a guy to man some phones. Avita, you know, sent one of their emergency managers to assist us. First call 211. Some of our CERT team came in, so it was good to see that we had a lot of help. And when the community's really in trouble, people start coming out and showing up. So
Currently at Clear Fork High School,
yes,
AEP,
Ohio Edison.
Yeah. First Energy.
Yes, Joe and I worked on that yesterday afternoon, and I did not want to say anything until we could verify it, but I knew that they were going to plan to do that this morning. Hopefully they can get the power back on later today. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we are under a slight risk again for heavy winds, large hail.
We hired him. I told him, I mean, he had a major snowstorm. We have tornadoes. I mean, you are the bad luck.
Bills on 71.
Bills on 71. I mean, seriously, tricky.
Yeah.
Shampoo.
That's a lot of shampoo.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Joe, let me ask, one of the concerns I had from residents, as well as something I experienced myself, and it's a major concern, is when this happened, I couldn't get voice calls. I couldn't receive voice calls. Text messages were down. The 5G would not respond. Communication was a real issue on many fronts.
Yes, it was.
Phones, SMS. Is there any, at this early stage, identification of what can be done to improve that?
We're working on that angle, but right now, from what I see,
And as you mentioned, the WEN system,
Yeah.
I didn't get a message that
yeah,
it was designed for alerts, and
Joe's going to have a request come in here. He's obviously working on so many things, but the one thing we're going to do, and speaking with IT when we were there, they'll see a request to take some measures to make sure we can get WEN's messages out. So
we have to have a redundancy, you know, for part of our emergency plan. And yeah, we had my phone, I know Sarah's phone hardly worked even when we had power, just because maybe there's damage to the towers. Yeah,
been an issue of capacity.
could be.
The cell towers couldn't handle that volume of.
Very well could be. Yeah. So, yeah, but no, we're definitely looking into that to try to prevent that and have something fail over, you know, a safe failover mechanism in place. But it just seemed like it was the perfect recipe for everything that happened here in Richland County, and it did. So,
yeah, we'll have, and I told Joe, let's not, whatever the cost is to make sure we can continue to provide better emergency services, let's do it. So Joe will have in some requests, particularly on the internet side, so we have WEN's capabilities and communications as well. So I told him, don't worry about the expense. Let's get it through and let's get it taken care of.
What I was referring to at Clear Fork High School is First Energy is handing out ice.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there who needs ice and water, electric's out.
yeah, it's
Fork High School.
It was packed this morning.
we put it out on social media, and then people started sharing it all over the place. So, very good.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, again, thank you. Sarah, you guys were wonderful.
You guys are amazing.
Spent some time at the EOC Tuesday, and it was odd being a commissioner and a resident. But if you are a resident, you should know that we have two really capable and competent people in EMA and a lot of good competent volunteers. So it was no panic. Everyone knew what they were doing. So it was good to see, and Richland residents can rest easy knowing that we have good people taking care of things. Questions, Al, Carl?
Yeah, I got a couple, and along the lines of residents resting easy. Joe, I know you're not responsible for the National Weather Service, but how frustrating is it? They never even issued a tornado watch on Monday night, much less a tornado warning. And if you look at their definition of tornado watch, it says it's issued when conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. Everything I watched Monday night certainly looked like, from a weather standpoint, that was favorable for the development of tornadoes. So is it frustrating they didn't even issue a watch?
Yeah, it obviously is frustrating. In speaking with the one representative from the National Weather Service, he said, we have to try to balance the fine line of over alerting the public versus under alerting the public. And it's a very fine line. They don't want to over alert everybody so much that people then turn the WIA alerts capability on their phones off. He said, sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we get it wrong. But yes, it is frustrating. I know it's frustrating for those residents down there that have extensive damage. I wish I could give you a better answer, Carl, but other than it is frustrating, and they do try to do the best that they can with what data they have.
Joe, are you going to be asking them about that? Because I'll be honest with you, I was watching Cleveland weather, and they were showing the radar, and to me it was obvious that they should have issued some kind of warning. In fact, Cleveland TV was reporting that it was under some kind of watch.
Yeah, like I said, before I came down to this meeting, I was speaking with them for about 20 minutes, and that's all he wanted me to relay was it's a fine line, and they do what they can. I can't give you anything better, Al. I wish I could, but I cannot.
Okay, thank you.
Have you, the assessment teams, have they spoken with any residents? I did get an email and some pictures last night from a gentleman named Jared Skeeto. He said the tornado didn't destroy his house, but it threw a whole bunch of trees into his house, which caused damage. But so are the assessment teams talking to residents who may have sustained damage along those lines?
Some of them do, if they can get to the location where there are people there. One of the issues that we did have is a lot of our CERT personnel that we tried to activate, they were unable to get out of their primary residence due to all the damage. So we had a limited number of people available for damage assessment, which is why I reached out to Huron County and Sandusky County. That's why we decided to go with the drone option, because they can cover a lot of area in a short amount of time. But the piece that we miss with that is, like you say, Carl, the individual face-to-face boots on the ground. But there was just so much extensive damage that we were unable to do that. So we have to come up with another way to get in touch with those folks down there. And we're looking at that right now also.
The tornado was produced from the 11:30 storm that came, because there were two waves, and
Yes.
about 2:33.
Yes. About 11:33, I think, is what they said.
Okay. And just with those heavy sustained winds, I mean, it wasn't like it happened and it was calm. Is it hard for you to activate and even have personnel out in those high winds? Because those were sustained winds for a significant period of time.
Yeah, I made that decision earlier on. I was not going to call the damage assessment teams out until it got daylight, just for the safety reason in and of itself. We can't have them walking around at night with, down power lines and things like that. So, but then again, it's a huge thing to try to assess because you have the safety of the first responders. And I was listening to the scanner, listening to the radio. I even tried to go out and assist some of the agencies with getting to areas where they're calling in about down poles and things. And I could not even access to where the calls were coming in from. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it was a recipe that you hope never happens, and it all boiled at that moment in time. And it did identify some shortcomings in our damage assessment response, unfortunately.
And Adam, while we have you here, what is the current condition in terms of the county roads at this point?
I believe everyone has access along the county road. There are still a couple of roads that are closed. The list remains the same as Tuesday right now. Washington North, Bunker Hill North, Possum Run, and McCurdy. We're still waiting on power companies to get in and remove lines from trees so that we can clear those roads. It's not safe for our guys to be out cutting on trees that have power lines wrapped in them. So we're still waiting on some of those to, hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have everything at least open, passable with one lane. We're waiting for the power companies. We are going back around all county roads to try to get them open 2 lanes wide. So.
That's pretty much what I had. Thanks, folks.
Anyone else? Well, again, Joe, Sarah, thank you. Maybe we'll have you back in, Joe, when things slow down, but they're not slowing down because we have the solar eclipse meeting today at 1 o'clock. So
1 or 1:30.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock at Longview. So poor Joe's getting ready for the start of our solar eclipse planning, and he had the storm. So thank you all. Let's take a little bit of a recess here. We'll come back in at 10:25. All right. Okay, we are back in session, 10:28 in the morning. We're joined by our dog warden, Melissa Houghton, while we are still dealing with power issues. Good news, bad news on that front. Our dog warden's building does not have full power. It's bad news. Good news is the area that does have power is the kennel area, so we're still able to run portable AC units for the care of our dogs.
Yes, every single kennel space, the AC units are still running. So the staff actually said it's a little bit more tolerable back in the kennels than it is up front in the office. And it's like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. We'll leave and we can go home there, but the dogs are stuck here, so they need to stay more comfortable. So, so our phones and internet are still down because it appears that the power that's out controls that portion of everything. So I've put a post on Facebook and just let people know they can message us through there. And I'm just monitoring all that stuff through my phone. So if they want to talk to us, they can message and I'll get back with them as soon as I can.
So Missy's here today for a good reason, for reasons unbeknownst to any of us. That dog warden building we were just talking about has some areas that are carpeted. And for those of us who've had pets or at least vaguely aware of pets, carpet is not the preferred surface of choice when you have pets. Stains, aromas, germs. We don't need to lay out any pictures here.
Yeah, no.
So we have asked Missy, she had requested that they take the carpeting out and put in tile, which I felt was an excellent idea.
Yeah.
And so she went out and got some quotes. And at this time, she's asking that we accept the quote to have tile put in as opposed to carpet. Vinyl, which is the way to go, easy to get up, repel, it's just would make sense. So she's asking that we approve a quote of $5,552.50 from Castran Carpets to tear up the carpet and put in luxury vinyl tile.
Doesn't have to be luxury.
But that's what they call it, LVD.
Yeah. But yes, that is what I am asking. So I think it will improve the hygiene and the look.
We'll pay that out of Richland Reinvestment, Stacy, if we approve it. So we'll ask for that motion.
Much easier to clean.
I would make a motion that we approve taking out of the carpet and putting the vinyl down.
And how long do you think it's going to be until this is supply chain issues as well, or labor issues as well? Do you know what?
He didn't specify. So, but I'm really good at being kind of annoying till things happen. So, but he didn't say that it was going to be an extended length of time.
Okay. I see it's a special ordered item.
Well,
It says anyway. So that leads me to believe it might take
it may take a little bit
Nothing is cheap and
quick.
anymore in this current economy.
definitely the right way to go. My second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Where did you say the purchase was from?
Castran Carpets right by the dog warden on 4th Street. Castran with a K.
If the dog kennels are indeed air conditioned, Missy, I still don't have power in my house. How big are the kennels? Do you have any room? And when can I come over?
We have one cage left for him, don't we?
We only have 3 cages open. So for,
Have to be the big one.
yeah, I mean, if you're
Daryl, that-
comfortable getting into a small,
Missy, I don't have air conditioning either. And there's
Yeah.
something known as Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I'm
what
seeing a fundraising opportunity here.
But there'd be a lot of
Exactly,
people to put
exactly.
Carl in a cage for money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's not encourage that.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, if you put Carl in the cage, does that mean he has to go up for adoption?
He'd be returned quickly.
We're stuck with him.
And he has to go through the spay and neutering too.
Oh, the hell no.
Anything else, guys?
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're slowly getting back on session. At this time, I'd like to ask for.
Could I ask a quick question before you
Oh,
guys go into
geez.
executive session?
Yeah.
I'm not that worried about what you're gonna be doing behind closed doors. That's for the public to worry about. But continuing on with the conversation we had with Joe when he was in earlier, from your standpoint, are you concerned at all that given what was known about this storm? I mean, I sat in my house and watched it on the internet coming down out of Toledo across the state, that the Weather Service didn't even offer a tornado watch.
Well, I can't tell you, Joe, from our end, and EMA was sending out notifications that conditions were out there for potential serious weather events. So, I'll only answer for things we can control. It's one thing I've learned here in this seat. So we were at least alerting people that the conditions were potentially dangerous. And what the National Weather Service decides to do or not to do, I'm sure Joe will communicate with them. I think he answered it appropriately. Concerning, sure, but we're going to work with them, and we'll take care of what Richland County can control.
Carl, I'm concerned also, but I'm concerned about everything the federal government's got their hands in.
That's a softball for him, Carl.
Oh, man.
That's a good quote for you there, too. Banks concerned with anything the federal government is control of. That's not as good as you're in our court now, but made its way across the state of Ohio.
All right, that's all I had then.
All right, motion to go in executive session for compensation of a public employee.
So move.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Did you see even on CNN last night, they're finally Okay, coming out of executive session, we're gonna have some motions here, and I think these are absolutely justifiable in light of what's happened this year. Going to ask for a motion. I think we can do this all in one, that we increase our EMA director's salary to $31.44, which would put him at the midpoint. That's Joe Patricky, who we all know, effective June 23rd. I think it goes without saying the work Joe has done during the snowstorm and comp that predates 2005, really, with the recent emergency. That would bring him up to the midpoint of his pay range, still make him the lowest paid county director, but at least it gives him an appropriate compensation for someone of his experience in law enforcement and emergency operations. Then we're also asked within that motion that we bump up Ms. Sarah Potes to $20 an hour, which doesn't even bring her up to her midpoint. And that would be effective the first pay period following her probation. That's for that motion, anyone?
I'll, that motion.
Second.
Do we know when her probation's over?
Get those exact dates and come out and get those. Joe has them. I think they're coming up in July. I talked to Joe about it. He'll get you the exact dates.
Thank you. Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, we have back on schedule. How about that? Any questions? Seeing none, we will recess at 10:51.
Yeah, Tony, yeah, I do. What were the original salaries for both of them?
Joe's making, as a director, $24.92, and Sarah's making $17.94.
Okay.
Both are under their even starting wage right now of our pay scales. They're not even within range.
You mean the current one? They'll be at the midpoint then when the raises go into effect.
Correct. Well, no, Sarah won't, Joe will.
Okay. Okay, what do you got? You say you're in recess?
We have an 11 o'clock, another executive session.
Oh, okay. You moved the day spring?
Yeah, well, that's not on there.
Canceled that.
Oh, okay. You expect any action?
Don't know yet.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Recess for 8 minutes.
I saw something Ohio Edison's having water bottles and ice at the high school, Clear Fork.
High School. Yeah, all of Butler's out.
Oh, really?
Okay, we are back in session. At this time, we are joined by Teresa Alt, our Youth and Family Council Director, and at this time, I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session for appointment of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, very important and serious discussions. We're gonna have some motions here. Let's try to go through them. First, I'll ask for a motion that we terminate employee James Davis effective June 14th. If anyone's wondering why today's the 16th and it's the 14th, we had a gigantic storm and we had a meeting canceled, but that was to be the effective date of termination. So I'll ask for that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Okay, next, I'll ask then that we post a job for Mr. Davis's replacement. We don't have a position name yet because it won't be a service coordinator. We're in the process of developing new position analysis questionnaires for this position. So a motion to post for a job commensurate with a service coordinator.
In reference to salary,
Well, we don't know because the new scale will have to tell us that.
depending on the state.
Right.
And we don't know what to do.
So it's incumbent upon Charlene and Teresa, the job can't get posted until it has a new title.
A new job description.
Correct. That's all part of the PAQ's
the updated.
job description.
And salary range.
And then
So moved.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
I don't think we need then that third motion for Kaylee because once that new position, you'll come back to us and ask for us to change Kaylee's position, correct?
yes.
Okay. Then that leads us to a third motion. This one could be a very rarely not, we could have a tie-breaking situation here. At this time, I will ask for a motion to hire an additional individual for the position soon to be developed via the position analysis questionnaire to help facilitate a contract with Coleman as part of the new Ohio Rise program.
So are you posting the job? Or you're
Well,
actually
that's what the motion will be to post for yet another one.
to hire? So I didn't know what we were. So we're posting the position.
For me.
I guess I'll make the motion. It may die for lack of a second.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And I don't know if this is the appropriate time or if I should have asked. So what do you need to see or what do you need from me to make you comfortable with approving a agreement with Coleman for Ohio Rise?
I don't see Coleman's roles expanding at this time.
I'm sorry?
I don't see Coleman's role expanding at this time in regards to our manning. In other words, if we don't accept more of contract work that Coleman's currently performing, I don't see how this could be necessary.
Okay, help me understand. So you're concerned about the just two? Is that what you're saying? That you're concerned it's going to be a bigger commitment than just two individuals? Two
Correct. That's correct.
staff. Okay. So even if I bring you a contract that hopefully will be adjusted based on Andrew's, that will be adjusted based on Andrew's recommendations. So even if I bring you a contract that's been reviewed and approved by Andrew that says just two individuals, 100% reimbursement plus 20%, you're still not comfortable with the contract.
That's correct.
Why? If a contract that's for 1 year specifically says two individuals,
And we're looking at two individuals now, correct?
yes,
And we have those two.
yes. Well, we have,
Now you're looking at a third. What I'm pushing back on is the third.
No,
We're looking at James Davis replacement. We have Kaylee.
Mhm.
That's two.
right.
Well, you're saying is you're not comfortable bringing on anyone?
So you don't want us to hire a
correct.
third person.
That's correct.
And why? I mean, just help me understand. So I mean, if there's something I can do to make you comfortable, I want to be able to do that.
I don't see why it's necessary.
So the care of our high needs multi-system youth and their families, ensuring that's the highest quality that we can is not necessary.
I don't see how families served by Coleman has been proven to be insufficient.
Because they haven't served anyone yet. I mean, this is all brand new starting July 1st. So, but they don't have any relationships here. They don't have any staff here.
Okay.
So we're already, we're already at an advantage because we have the relationships, we have the staff, we know the players, we know the families. So it's a benefit to our families to continue that continuity and that care so that they don't have to start over with new providers.
What happens if we don't hire this third person and you have the two that we currently, replacement and Kaylee? What happens? What happens if we don't hire this third person?
If we don't hire the third person.
The new service coordinator or whatever the title ends up being. What happens?
We have discussed,
Yeah,
that was discussed.
I thought you already proved that. No?
Oh, well, we would be discussing things that were said in executive session, so we can't. I guess the answer is let's adjourn. The motion didn't carry, and then you
Okay.
flip offline.
Right.
And or Daryl. I do want the minutes to reflect that I am supportive of this. I would have voted yes, but the motion died on the floor.
But I mean, we still have work to do. Granted, it's, this is not completed. So we have work to do with the contract. We have work to do with Coleman. And when that work is completed, it would be back in open session as a request.
Yeah, as of right now, it's
Still
the
permissible.
board, I guess, with only one of three.
Okay, so what all I'm
You
asking,
could convince both of these guys, I guess.
what do I need to bring to you and what do you need to see? And we have a conversation this afternoon at 2 with Coleman. If you want to jump on, I
My
can send you this.
suggestion would be to meet with each one individually.
Okay,
We've beat this to death in executive session, and now we're going on 50 minutes.
sorry.
I don't think any minds, nor should they be changed without a more in detailed conversation
Okay,
with both of them. Right? Am I saying that? Let's, and it still may be no, but maybe you can convince them. You've convinced me.
okay.
You got to convince these two.
I will make arrangements for myself to talk to a few other people on the Youth and Family Council.
Okay,
Because I'll talk with them and then I'll get back with you.
Someone else you should maybe talk to, Daryl, honestly, is Rachel Massoud at CCAO. She's intimately involved in this Ohio Rise program. Massoud, she's brilliant too. That policy staff is great. You may want to reach out to her as well.
Okay.
But are there any questions at this time?
there's nobody there.
Oh, well, great.
Report.
Teresa, thank you. I know it didn't necessarily go the way you wanted it right now, but we'll figure it out one way or the other. And there'll be more to come on this.
Darlene's on vacation this week.
No, it's medical, but she's available via phone. All right, we will adjourn at 11:50.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get-
I'll just email you some